It is Thursday. That means Europa League.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the scores. Arsenal, 2-0 winners over Napoli. Don't be too excited, Paul. Easy. Chelsea get a late goal from Marcos Alonso. I think 86th minute to get the victory over Slavia Prague. Benfica, thanks to a Joao Felix hat-trick win 4-2 against Eintracht Frankfurt, who were reduced to 10 men pretty early. And then Valencia, a couple late goals as they take a 3-1 lead into their second leg against Villarreal. This was the match we were all focused on. Arsenal 2-0 winners over Napoli. Aaron Ramsey with an early goal, 14th minute. And then about 10 minutes after that, Lucas Torreira with a shot takes a deflection off Koulibaly, ruled as an own goal. The possession stats there tell us one story, but I don't really think they tell the story of the game. Perhaps the expected goals maybe more accurate of what we saw on the pitch. Paul, I'll start with you, man. Arsenal were dominant, pretty much wire to wire, right?
The first half, particularly, they were absolutely fantastic. They played fast football. They were going through the lines. The passing was incredible. 1 and 2 touches. Napoli could not live with them. It was unfortunate they only could get the 2 goals because it's still slightly open, this game. But if they bring it, as they did tonight, they'll get through. It's quite remarkable with this, A, with the team selection, and B, with the different performance from the Everton game at the weekend compared to tonight. It's unrecognisable, this side. Why are they so up and down? Yeah. That's my concern. This game should be dead and buried. If it was 4 or 5, we'd still be saying that's about right. You know, Ramsey comes in, scores a fantastic goal, missed the sitter in the second half. But it was an encouraging performance. But having said that, I thought Napoli were extremely poor. You mentioned it during the match. How mad are you that Ramsey's not coming back? Well, we've been banging the drum on this programme for a long, long time. How he wasn't re-signed, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it's quite remarkable. And they're going to have to spend big to try and replace this guy because at the present moment, this is a sign of the true professional that this guy is. Yes, he's going to Juventus, but he's still putting a shift in. And that's very, very important. He's an extremely good top box-to-box player. Sure, if you're the Arsenal board, you're looking around. How many players on this team are actually better than an Aaron Ramsey?
None. He's actually their main player in the middle of the park now, as far as getting forward and contributing, scoring goals and connecting. So when that's walking out the door,
for free too,
for free, is an absolute disaster. However, it's only 2-0. Yeah. And as great as Arsenal are at home, they're as bad away from home. And if I'm Napoli, I'm thanking my lucky stars we only lost by 2. But I also know that we can beat this team by 2 at least at home. So Napoli absolutely will be thanking the lucky stars, as I said, that they're still in this game.
Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ozil, all in the starting lineup. Unai Emery definitely went for it. Fair, Shaka?
Yeah, absolutely. And given how poor Arsenal have been away from home, I think they've got 2 wins in all competitions since the end of November, and against Huddersfield and Blackpool. You understand that if you are going to go through, you feel you have to get the job done and give yourself a good lead to defend here in the first leg. And I thought you saw that from Unai Emery in the team that he put out, a team that dominated Napoli and maybe should have had as poor as 4 or 5.
Is this a home lineup only, or do you think Emery can take this on the road, Shaka?
Well, and that's a challenge. And from an Arsenal perspective, as we've all been saying, Arsenal have been so inconsistent, so good at home and yet still so poor on the road. And there's no real logical explanation as to exactly why that is. Do I think he's going to go with 2 up front from the opening whistle against Napoli with a lead to defend, given how poor they've been? No, I don't think so. You've seen Unai Emery swapping between Lacazette and Aubameyang, either one starting, coming off the bench and changing things up as needed. I don't expect it to be as adventurous, certainly not to start, but certainly have everybody on the bench and available. Whether Ozil is a player used from the start, away from home as well, is another question Unai Emery has to answer. I'm not so sure he is.
There's a question we were asking when we were watching the game. The coach decided to take off Lacazette, Torreira and Ozil. Now, if he'd have left them on the field, we'll never know the answer to this question. If he would have left them on the field, because they were rolling, they were still playing very, very well, could they have got that 3rd goal? Could they have got that 4th goal with those players that were playing extremely? That unit was performing very, very well. and he changes it. And we know, we've been in that position. You change the rhythm of the team because the players, it takes them a little while to get up to speed. And Napoli did come in and have a couple of chances. So Unai Emery sometimes is going to let these guys go.
That tells you all you need to know, what their problem is away from home. You know, he's sat there thinking, you know what, 2-0, I'll take 2-0 to go away in Napoli. If he had been thinking, if we can get 3 and keep these players on the field, then you can maybe kill the tie. So, you know, he goes into defensive mode. Yeah. That puts his players in a defensive mode. They sit back, and they're not that great at the back, so they lose goals away from home. Every single thing you saw today when they were 2-0 up, him making the changes, tells you exactly where his head at and where the problem is.
On the other side of this thing, post-match, Ancelotti has come out and he said he's totally confident heading back to Naples.
Well, he's seen them away from home, hasn't he? Well, you would be.
But based on what we saw today, I mean, I would think it's very difficult for anybody associated with Napoli to be confident going back. They were played off the park.
Yeah, but
I don't know if Arsenal were that good or were Napoli that bad.
Look, the whole point of tonight was to put this game to bed. They had an opportunity at home to really kill this game off. 2-0, I don't care where you're going. At 2-0 in a European tie, this is not over. Because anything can happen on European nights. You don't know whether you get a bad call or the players just don't perform. But it's up to Unai Emery to get his tactics and his selection spot on, because everybody's going to be looking at it.
You guys are all saying Arsenal hasn't done enough. Do you actually think Napoli gets through?
As of right now, yeah, Arsenal are in the pole position. Listen, I sat in the studio yesterday. I made the point, which almost kind of stupidly stand by, that this is a very good Napoli side, despite what their recent results suggest. Comfortably in second place in Serie A. They're not going to catch Juventus. They're not going to be caught. So maybe, you know, you understand. And now Ancelotti has his eyes firmly focused on the Europa League. This performance was simply awful. And if I'm Ancelotti and seeing my side comfortably second in Serie A, I'm putting this down as a one-off. And I'm backing my team to come back from 2 down. You get an early goal against this Arsenal team, with your crowd behind you, you all of a sudden up for it and giving ourselves frailties on the road, which we keep mentioning, and I think is a huge factor mentally for Arsenal and Unai Emery alike. This is by far, this is not done at all.
If I'm Ancelotti, I know that, number one, my team can't be as bad in the second leg, and I know Arsenal can't be as good. Because in the first half, Arsenal were fantastic. I mean, the Ramsey goal is an incredible goal from a team standpoint. The passing, the movement, the accuracy, the finish, you name it. So Ancelotti's not stupid. He knows that Arsenal can't do that in Napoli. He also knows his team's going to be better.
Arsenal gets their win in the first leg, as does Chelsea, though Chelsea really had to work for this. It wasn't until the 86th minute, Willian sends a cross in, Marcos Alonso somewhat unmarked on the back post, heads it home, and that's the difference for Chelsea as they pick up the victory on the road. I guess the big talking point here is really Maurizio Sarri's decisions in his starting 11. That's the 11. I'll just tell you who's on the bench. Hazard, Higuain, Kante, David Luiz. The one guy he still found a spot for in the starting 11, should be noted, Jorginho. Always there. Always there. This would seem to suggest, guys, but maybe I'm wrong, correct me, that Sarri is prioritizing now the top 4 chase over Europa League. Is that the right decision, if that's indeed the case? I
think what he's doing is edging his bets, if I'm perfectly honest. I think...
That's a risk in itself, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but you know, football is a risk game. The simple fact of the matter is, when we've seen the recent Chelsea sides that he's selected in the Premier League, they've been on the front foot, they've been going forward. Hazard has been re-energised. He's trying to show these young kids what a brilliant player he is. I mean, just look what he did at the weekend. It was incredible what Hazard did. And that's the type of player that we know that he is. And it's up to Sarri to realise that when he puts these young kids out, Hudson-Odoi, who I think, did he leave him home tonight? I believe he did.
Yes, he's giving him a rest.
And Loftus-Cheek, who, in my opinion, is a much better player than Barkley. I think he's edging his bets. I think he's confident they can get through this tie. And I think he's fairly confident that he might be able to nick something at Liverpool, maybe a draw or something.
Slavia Prague was a great draw from them. The timing of going into third place, having beaten West Ham. So now they're looking good for top 4. They get a good draw against a team in Slavia Prague who they should be able to beat, putting half a side out, which I think he has done. If he looks at what's going to come up against them at the weekend in Liverpool, 4 of those 6 that were at the top won't be playing. The front 3, definitely, that you saw today, will not play. And either Kovacic or Barkley will not play. So this is falling for him at the right time. He can put the side out he did, knows he's going to win the game, but also he's able to keep the likes of Hazard for this big game coming up with Liverpool.
I'm with Sarri in terms of his team selection. He's generally made changes in Europa League, and that team has generally played a whole lot better than we've seen from his league outfit. So Hudson-Odoi, who I think has to play now and at least prove a counterbalance to Hazard on the right-hand side and give defences a whole lot more to think about. And with Paul, I think Loftus-Cheek needs to have a bigger role in this Chelsea lineup, and you get a tie that allows you to do that, allows you to make changes. You don't have to be at your best given the run-in. Yes, you're in third, but you know that the chasing pack have a game in hand and can catch you. Is a lot that Chelsea, a lot of fronts that Chelsea continue to fight on. And the truth of the matter is, given this club, given what's the expectation, especially from the owner, you have to hedge your bets. You have to continue fighting on all fronts. I don't think you're in a position to prioritise, not given how itchy or Abramovich's trigger finger can be.
Chelsea then with an eye on the weekend, and Liverpool, well, that would take us through the end of the Premier League season. Obviously, we got to look at what's left. Now, gentlemen, we were kind of looking at the run-ins for the 4 teams competing for the last 2 spots in the top 4. I think we agreed the Spurs run-in is pretty favorable. But then you throw in this Kane injury, and let's assume, for the purposes of this segment, that he is gone for the rest of the season, even with that run-in, Paul. Can Spurs make top 4 if there's no Harry Kane the rest of the way?
I think they can. I think what they'll do, they'll move Son inside to the 9 spot and Lucas Moura will come in. So you've still got pace, you've still got, as we've seen with Son recently, he can put the ball in the back of the net. In actual fact, when Harry was out, he was the guy that actually shone and scored the goals for them. So I think when you put that in the mix and the running, as you say, I think they're okay. What
do you guys think, Stevie? I'll start with you. Spurs' chances without Kane.
Well, they've already missed them this year and did pretty well. 5 wins out of 7. That's not too shabby. And the teams they're playing against, I expect them to win whether Harry Kane's playing or not, other than the Manchester City game. So, you know, the only other away game apart from City is Bournemouth away, and Bournemouth absolutely are almost on the beach right now. So I fancy them to win the majority of those games, particularly as they're at home.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. And they have enough points in the bag to allow themselves, if you want to call it that, the loss to Manchester City. I don't think that damages their chances. Outside of that, I think they run the board. Keep in mind the number of games that they have at home as well. I thought the only question mark would be how well they settle into their new home. What we've seen so far, absolutely seamless. Bournemouth away and then to finish up Everton at home, probably the only 2 tests. But last game of the season, Everton, not a whole lot to play for. And at home, I expect Spurs to win that as well.
The Harry Kane injury news, not good news for Spurs. However, as we look at the odds here, so favorites on the left side of the screen, underdogs right side of the screen. From top to bottom, you've got your strongest favorite, Liverpool, 1-40 after their 2-0 win against Porto. And Man City, now the weakest of the favorites, at 8-13, as they are the only one of the favorites that's trailing heading into the second leg. Let's check out this quote from Ilkay Gundogan. "We were not brave enough in the game, and we made a lot of simple mistakes," of course referencing the loss against Spurs. "I have the feeling we are nervous in important Champions League games. We always make the wrong decisions." He continued, "Had we scored from the penalty, we'd have taken Tottenham apart. But instead, we withdrew from the game. That must not happen to a big team. That's why we're not there yet." Paul, do you agree with what Gundogan's saying here, that Manchester City are not there yet?
Well, you can point the finger to the selection, the team selection that Pep made, his tactical decisions. Look, if Aguero scores the pen, it could be a different game. He didn't. It was a fabulous save from Lloris. But I just think that when Pep puts the right team out there, I just feel that they have got that mental capacity to see games through. Look, Stevie's played in massive... We've all played in massive games. And yes, it does affect you. It does affect certain players. And it's up to the manager now to work out which those players are for this. If they're going to play machine-like that the coach wants them to play.
He's left De Bruyne on the bench till the 89th minute, Sané as well. Stevie, we didn't really criticize Pep after the show on Tuesday, or during the show on Tuesday. Should we have been a little bit more critical?
I think we did. You know, they were passive. You know,
yeah, but we were talking about the team. Were we talking about Pep's lineup choices of passive, or are you saying that the players were passive? That's
you've got to remember that when a manager and a coach sends his players out, he sends them out with a message. And when he gives them the team that starts, he's already given them a message that we're going to play this a little safer. You know, you got Gundogan there saying that, you know, they became a little nervous. When you're nervous, you start thinking about things too much. And when you're not playing with your natural flair and ability and everyone's connecting, then it affects the team. Now, when City are at their best, with their best team, they just go and play. They don't care who they're playing against. Certainly in the Premier League.
Should Pep have sent that lineup out then?
Absolutely. Tottenham are the home team, and you can guarantee Tottenham are sitting going, no, you know, I hope this game's not over after tonight and we're at home. Instead, Pep sent the wrong message to his players by putting out the wrong side and the wrong tactics. And then he wonders why they're a little passive.
Shaka, we showed a graphic yesterday. It's not the first time that in this situation Pep has struggled.
Yeah, and you just wonder if what happened to them last year against Liverpool at exactly this stage kind of maybe is what is shaping Pep's thinking in terms of the approach. The fact of the matter remains that even last year they were, in my opinion, a little bit too cautious against Liverpool in the first leg, and then had it all to do in the second, and maybe could have gotten the job done, but for a couple of calls that went against them. I don't understand the caution by Pep Guardiola in this situation. It's not what Manchester City have done in the league, certainly so far in the tournament. You just wonder if a lack of experience in going deep with this team now kind of affects what he's thinking and how the players react to any little change that he does make. If he doesn't send an attacking team out, then all of a sudden this team kind of backs into their shell a little bit.
I think Pochettino would have expected him to play De Bruyne. But Bernardo Silva apparently wasn't quite right, but I'm sure he'll play in the next leg, and David Silva, if he's fit. When those guys are on the field, the movement around each other, the way that they know where each other is, as Stevie said, they don't really have to look at it. They can just play it, because that's the way that they put their patterns together. It's going to be a totally different game, but it depends on who he selects.
Look, as much as we criticise in Manchester City here and team selections and all sorts, they're still in this. This is by no means done and dusted. You know, 1-0 is an easy result to turn over if you play at your best. I think what's concerning is how poor Manchester City were by their own standards against an opponent that they should know a whole lot better.
I think they're still favourites, but look at the words we're using: passive, cautious, nervous. Not things you associate with Man City.
No. So, OK, Gundogan says they're not there yet in the Champions League. Not there yet in the Premier League either. The race is on as we look at the top half of the table. City playing Palace this weekend. Of course, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal get Watford, United against West Ham, and Spurs welcome Huddersfield Town. Lionel Messi, bloodied and bruised against Manchester United. Huesca. Somebody who won't be available this weekend, Diego Costa. 8-match ban, 4 matches for insulting or using offensive words towards an official, and 4 for light violence towards an official. Of course, this stemming from an incident in the match between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona last weekend that really opened up a big gap atop the La Liga table. In fact, Costa's absence really won't matter much to the title chase. Atletico Madrid 11 points back of Barcelona. Really the only question for Atleti is will they be able to stay ahead of their city rivals Real Madrid. Barcelona heading to a second straight title, potentially would be their 4th in 5 years. From Spain to the top of the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, after their 5-0 win in their Klassiker, now a point ahead of Borussia Dortmund. So logically, all things must be great for Bayern Munich. Their practices must just be very friendly. No? Okay, according to Bild, Kingsley Coman and Robert Lewandowski fought each other with fists in training today. Sule Boateng and other players had to separate them. Kovac didn't send them to the dressing room, and both continued training which surprised the rest of the players. Bayern, there you see at the bottom, refusing to comment on the incident. So let's comment on it ourselves. I think the first takeaway is they didn't even get sent to the showers.
I mean, look, we've all seen it, been on the training ground, and things sort of.
Got any good stories?
Not that I can tell you.
Wait for the book.
But the thing is, I think we're all a little surprised that they didn't get sent to the dressing room. That's the normal procedure, send them in with a trainer or someone like that. But look, we've all seen it. It's nothing.
Shaka, you've seen any good ones?
I saw one really good one when I was at West Ham, Al Berkovic and John Hartson, where John Hartson bad tackle on Al Berkovic in training. Al is on the floor and kind of lashes out with his hands at Hartson, catches him around the calf or something. And John just absolutely kicks Al Berkovic in the face. And that was another situation where Harry didn't call training off. Just he, kind of came in between them and started training going again. But you could tell the players weren't with it and quite clearly had an issue. And eventually he had to kind of stop training and move things on. The fact that Kovac kept training going, to me, suggests that it wasn't that bad.
Stevie, save your stories for the book, or right, but Rayados with a 5-0 lead after the first leg, and that would be a all Monterrey final there for the CONCACAF Champions League trophy. Meanwhile, the Gold Cup draw is out. I shouldn't say draw because CONCACAF really just picks where everybody goes. U.S. getting Panama, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago, a rematch for all those U.S. fans looking for revenge from early October.
If you win this time, you still don't qualify.
Okay, easy there, Mr. TNT. And then
look
at Mexico.
Bermuda. That's a while since they qualified, isn't it?
I think it's the first time. I think it's the first time they've qualified for the Gold Cup.
History there. Mexico's group, Canada, Martinique, and Cuba. And of course, if you want any more coverage, head over to our website, espnfc.com. Hercules Gomez sitting down with Greg Berhalter for a chat with the U.S. national team coach. Mina, Gab, and Paolo are back for the latest edition of the City Awesome podcast. They're focused on Juventus and Ajax in the Champions League. In this week's episode, check it out on iTunes or espnfc.com. Speaking of Juventus and Ajax, where do we find them in Shaka's power rankings?
I know I say this every week, but this is one of the best top 10s I've ever done.
I'll go with the rubbish shirt.
Benfica get themselves in. Sorry, hold on. Benfica get themselves in after a convincing win against Eintracht.
Who's at number 9?
Score 4. Istanbul Başakşehir.
Well done.
By 6 points over Galatasaray. They deserve to be there.
I just told you that.
PSG draw on the weekend. They're down 3. Bayern smashed Dortmund, so they're back in. Ajax, I'm in love with Ajax. I know it was only a draw, but it was a good performance against Juventus.
No, they go up 1. To be reckoned
City down 3. Spurs, look at Spurs. Get all the way up to 4 after beating City. Started their new home
That is buffoonery.
And then the top 3 speaks for itself.
No, it doesn't.
Juventus,
Juve got a draw.
Barcelona.
Juve
but they're
drew
still
with
favorites
Ajax.
on the road.
All right.
That was
That's
good.
all the time for us.
That was
for
real
crew,
good.
I'm Seb. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
No, I'm not.
All right. Great to have you with us.
All right.
You know, I'm feeling
well
good.
Well done, Magic.
You like that?
I do.
I got a flight to catch, son.
That's my
good.
favorite.
So do I.
All right, then let's move it right along. First question.
To be, things to do.
From Zubair. What do you think this is for you, I think, Paul. What do you think the partnership of Ronaldo and Ramsey is going to be like? I know you're salty he's leaving your club.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe if Ronaldo stays fit, let me think. I think he might do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can see what Ramo's doing in the Premier League.
Ramo. Oh, goodness me.
What's that?
What am I hearing?
That's his nickname.
Oh, goodness me.
Of course I don't know, but that's his nickname. That's what the fans call
So if you were to meet him tomorrow, you go, "Hey, Ramo, how you doing, Ramo?"
All right, Ramo.
All right.
No,
Hey, Ramo.
Not Rabo, Rambo. Hey.
It's getting worse.
You going deaf?
Hey?
All right.
I think they'd be very good.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Oh, goodness. I thought you said... You did say Ramo.
Well, what are you two talking about ganging up on folks? Shut up.
You said Ramo. You know you did.
Honestly. Stay on.
Doesn't even know what he says.
No, he didn't.
All right. Can Arsenal make it to the Europa final? What do you think, Shaka?
Ask
Ramos' mate.
Ask Ramos' mate over there.
Well, if you'd have asked me at half-time today, I'd have said absolutely. But then now it's full-time and it's 2-0. A little bit iffy.
All right.
Kobe,
Who've they got next?
What about these two Muppets?
What's the draw? Who've they got next if they get through against Napoli? They got the winner between Villarreal and Valencia, right?
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Yep, that's correct.
Go on, man.
I'm going to go for a no.
Oh, there's a shot.
Valencia up 3-1.
Why do you hate Arsenal so much?
I like Ramos. Ramos is the only player.
Who's that? Who's that?
Ramos.
Oh, you mean the Juventus player?
You look at me like that for?
He's lost.
But they're going to beat Napoli, but they can't beat Valencia. How do you work that one out?
I didn't say they were going to beat Napoli.
Oh,
so are they going to play Valencia?
You asked who they were going to play next.
You asked who they were going to play next.
Well, I like to educate myself.
Yeah.
I just like to.
Napoli next.
You do need a bit of educating.
Yeah. Yeah. Stevie says to the master scientist. Okay. Kobe wants to know: is Chelsea finished
what
without?
What are you trying to say?
You know. I'm sorry. That was mean.
All American.
He's a very sensitive
All
soul.
American, how you say
Find out how mean it was after, let me tell you. I'm going to show you.
You know how I know you're paying attention?
Because he
Sorry?
Who said that?
He said that to me on Extra Time yesterday. He said, you know how I know you're paying attention, Seb? You shut up.
That's true.
All right, so let's move on past. It is true. Robert wants to know, in honor of National Pet Day, does any...
Hold on, you haven't even discussed Kobe's death.
We just talked about
Kobe's was a Chelsea finish without Hazard. We haven't dealt with that.
Okay, what do we think? Chelsea without Hazard. Hopeless?
Now let's move on to Robert's.
Yeah, not very good.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great analysis. In honor of National Pet Day, does any of the ESPN FC crew currently have a pet animal?
I have a dog.
You do? Name?
Bella.
Breed?
I have a little Shih Tzu.
Family show.
Oh, you don't like her either?
What?
Sorry? Well, you just don't like anybody. You don't like anybody or anything right now.
You don't have a pet?
With me?
I do, yeah. I've got 2 dogs and a cat.
All right.
Got 2 big dogs.
Aye.
What's the name of your dogs and your cat?
The dog's called Marnie, after Mr. Paul Mariner.
Hey!
Yep.
Not Rambo.
There you go.
Really?
Yep.
When
I'm
you
sorry, I
Paul
never know
Mariner.
if you guys are pulling my leg on this. You really named your dog after
it's
Paul?
called Marnie,
Why
after
you call
Paul
him
Mariner.
Why don't you just call him Paul?
Well, because it's a girl. That's why.
Ah, okay.
Paula.
Right. Yeah, that could have done that, but I didn't.
What's the cat called, Steph?
Daisy.
Oh, lovely.
And who's that named after?
Say what? It shouldn't be called Daisy. It's
What's the other dog called? Burley?
you can't get near it.
What's the other dog called?
Series of the cat, you can't get near it.
No.
You go and touch it on the back, you better count your fingers. Oh, it's a right horror.
Really?
Aye.
What's your other dog called?
Lottie.
Lottie. Nice. Yeah. I have a pussycat called Sydney.
Sydney.
She's a lady. She's a little girl.
Do you have any pets, Sid?
I don't. I have like a 900
Sid.
square foot apartment, so we're not really built for pets. But my wife is always talking about getting a dog, so I'll probably lose that.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're getting a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
You seem to lose a lot of battles.
He seemed disappointed there as well. Oh no, I'm going to have to get a dog.
He doesn't want a dog, but he's going to get
Try
a
to
dog.
win a battle one of these days.
Hold on. Who wears the trousers in Europe?
Not me, brother. Not me. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man.
I will
I like to
admit
see
it.
the trousers go with that jacket.
Yeah, she must have bought that.
Yeah, nobody's wearing them. Nobody's wearing them.
Do you think you still got the receipt?
He's even still got the label on the arm. Look, he's still got the label on the left arm.
He has as well.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that means,
Is that, you're supposed to take that off?
That's going back to the shop. That's going straight back to Walmart.
I'm just going to take the trash out, love, and he's like that scooter the way back of the shop.
All right, final question from our good friend Craig Burley's Beard.
Hey?
Paul and Stevie, who has the more refined palate?
This is so easy. It's so easy.
Even I can answer that
Wow.
And the answer is...
one. Mr. Mariner.
Thank you,
No
sir.
danger. I'm a meat and 2 veg guy.
He is.
That's it.
Yep.
Hey, and God love him for it.
Yes.
Because the grub that your last turned up is
I
top
like
grade.
what I like, and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Nothing wrong with that.
But one little footnote. His lovely wife makes me batches of beetroot every sort of month.
What is beetroot?
Beetroot.
You know, beetroot is a
No.
vegetable.
It's
Red
it's in vinegar,
vegetable.
right? Is it in vinegar she does it for?
Yes.
Hey.
Been done in vinegar.
It's good?
What?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds terrible, but I
No.
think
That's weird though, because she's a great cook. Unfortunately, she's got to deal with me, who's.
So you
Oh, so she
doesn't
actually
have to
has
cook
like
a
an
lot.
expansive list of things she can make.
Oh, why? She can cook, man. She's not one. She's got no. She has no plan or anything.
Yeah, she just
She's done there.
feel.
Clever that.
Got it from her mother. It's in the head, and she just. Unfortunately,
And here you are limiting her genes.
I am.
So now that I've brought up the
I've
beetroot,
been holding her back for 30
when is she bringing me another batch in?
Oh, that's what this is all about.
Right.
He wants
Absolutely.
Bring some in the next time I'm here. I could try it for the first time.
Oh, that's
Expand
great.
my palate.
Yes.
It's fantastic, man.
All right, well, great hanging out with you guys this
I've
week.
got
And
to go.
you,
Come
Seb.
on.
I'll miss you. Yep, we got to go. All right,
this
that's
up.
it for extra time. I don't know who's back tomorrow. I know
I'm
I
off to
Stuart
the-
Robson's here.
I'm off to the golf.
Also off.
Are you good,
I'm
lad?
off to the
Shaka's
golf.
got
To
a
Georgia?
IFAB
Yep.
meeting or
To
something.
the Masters?
Craig's
I'm
in.
good. I'm off to the golf to the
Adrian's
Masters.
our host. Oh, so much
Saved it till
fun.
the end.
Good lad.
Saved it to the end to spring that news.
Break.
Two 0 to them. Let's get the reaction of the Napoli manager. Carlo Ancelotti is with Emma Dodds.
Carlo, a 2-0 defeat tonight. How do you assess this match?
I think we didn't start well the game. The first half was not good, and we had difficulty to come back. But the second half was totally different. Of course, we are disappointed for the result. It's difficult to change, but we have to try. We have 90 minutes again. We will do everything to try to to move on.
Can you understand why your players perhaps struggled to settle in that first half?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because there were two different games. The first half really bad, second half really better. So we have to try to be focused on the second half that we played and try to play 90 minutes in Napoli.
Did you feel there was a foul in the build-up to the first goal on one of your players?
I think that the two goals that we conceded were the two mistakes that we did. The first was a wrong pass, second one was a pressure that we were not in control, but we were a little bit worried at the beginning, and we paid a lot, conceded two goals, but fortunately we have a possibility to change in the home game.
And at the other end, you also had one or two chances tonight. I saw your frustration on the sideline at not being able to take those chances.
Yeah, we could score one goal, but of course Arsenal put a lot of pressure. In counter-attack they were dangerous, but it's 2-0 and we have to think about the next game.
But given your home form, are you confident of turning this tie around in the second leg?
We are totally confident. We have a possibility, I think, with our supporter, in our stadium, to try to to win with 2 goals.
Thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
Totally confident. His words. Yep.